Welcome everyone, we are from Education Lift, and in this video we're going to start our introduction to exponents. What is an exponent? To answer this question, let's first review repeated operations. And for most people, the first operation they see repeated is addition. So let's review repeated addition. So for example, let's say we're adding three 2's together. We could write this down as 2 plus 2 plus 2. And notice we're adding the same number repeatedly. And this is why we call this repeated addition. Now adding three 2's is very short to write down. However, as we add more 2's together, it becomes long very quickly. So as another example, let's say we're adding 6 2's. So we could write this as 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. And already adding 6 2's is a lot longer to write down than adding 3 2's. So we wanted a way to shorten how we write repeated addition. And I don't know about you, but I like to write things shorter if possible. And the way we do that is multiplication. So for whole numbers, multiplication is repeated addition. So let's convert the repeated addition examples from earlier as multiplication problems. Let's start with our example of adding three 2's together. Three 2's. We first write down the amount of 2's we're adding together, which is 3. And then we write the multiplication sign to show that we're going to multiply. And then we're going to write down the number we're adding repeatedly, which is 2. So adding three 2's can be rewritten as 3 times 2. So then we could also do the same thing for adding 6 2's. Let me write that down here. 6 2's. And so we first write down the amount of 2's we're adding together, which is 6, then the multiplication sign, and then the number we're adding repeatedly, which is 2. So adding 6 2's could be rewritten as 6 times 2. So we have successfully converted our repeated addition examples as multiplication problems, and we see that this is much shorter than writing our repeated addition. Let's talk about how we're going to write the multiplication operator. So a lot of us began using the multiplication sign when we first learned multiplication. However, as we do more operations with variables, particularly multiplication, the multiplication sign can be confused with the most common variable, which is x. So we want to rewrite this operator so it's clear in many situations. So as an example, let's go down to our 3 times 2 and 6 times 2. A lot of people use a dot instead of the multiplication sign. So what we do here is for 3 times 2, we keep the 3 and the 2 the same, but instead of the multiplication sign, we'll replace it with the dot. And the same thing goes with 6 times 2. Keep the 6 and the 2 the same, and then we replace the multiplication sign with a dot. So this is clear if we had variables. However, if we mix whole numbers with decimals, something like 3 times 2.5, if we used a dot, this operator could be confused with the decimal point. Some people might think, hey, this is 3.2 times 5, which it's not. So to avoid this confusion even with numbers, we are going to use the asterisk. The asterisk is commonly seen in computers, so a lot of computer programming languages and the keyboards have the asterisk. And then another common place is the calculator. A lot of calculators still use the asterisk to display multiplication. So we could do the same process with 3 times 2 and 6 times 2. For 3 times 2, we keep the 3 and the 2 the same, just like we did with the dot, and then we put the asterisk in the middle. And the same thing with 6 times 2. Keep the 6 and the 2 and put the asterisk in the middle. And so even with decimals, we have something like 3 times 2.5. When we use the asterisks cannot be confused with the decimal point. And so this is clearer than when we use the dot. So for now on, we're going to use the asterisk instead. So far, we have reviewed repeated operations by reviewing repeated addition. And then we saw how we could rewrite repeated addition as multiplication. We also rewrote the multiplication operator with the asterisk. But now the question is, are there other operations we can repeat with the same number?